Hey everybody, my name is John Silvas and I am the CW Student Ambassador for Sword Gear Up. And today's topic is going to be Adulting 101. So the three topics for Adulting 101 is going to be balancing your personal life, your work life, and your student life. Okay, so first on the agenda is going to be student life. And let's talk about transitioning from high school to college. So when you're in high school, before nothing came at a price, and technically speaking, because you're running your parents' household, and all the expenses were there, and you didn't have to worry about anything, to be brutally honest. But it was nice, and it was a development period. But now that you're in college, everything does come at a price. They basically charge you for breathing. But please don't get discouraged. I mean, money comes and goes, and this is going to be an investment for your future. So don't look at it as a negative way, but just make sure to take control of your actions and be aware that you're paying for this. And if you don't put your 100%, then you're basically just throwing away your money. But yeah, so let's get into the majority of the expectations that are required to be in a classroom. So let's say for a deadline, if you don't make it, you don't make it. Sometimes there's professors that are really lenient where you submit it late, but they're going to reduce like 10% or like 25% of the grade every day, or stuff like that. And that's assuming that you get 100% on the assignment. But let's talk about if you're taking a series of classes directed towards your major, and it's the type of challenge that does not bring a smile to your face, it's not for you. So let's give for example, I took a class, and I'm taking it because I liked it. But like when I started challenging me, I didn't find satisfaction from the challenge. So that's an indication that I don't like that. So I'm gonna move on to another subject in this world and see if I like that. And just be prepared to be doing a lot of work, especially in the genetic classes. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of tedious tasks just for a letter grade. And, it's going to be a lot at times, but it's nice to have all that knowledge, and it's nice to develop with all that general education information for the future. And I feel like it's especially nice when you're able to hold a conversation with someone else about the topics that you learned during that class. Because it's nice, instead of just talking about politics where it's very controversial, or like talking about religion or stuff like that, just talking about what you learned in class. Like, let's say the fall of the Aztecs, of how the Spaniards came over and they took them over. It's nice to have a conversation like that with someone else instead of like being in the current world problems. I don't know. I look at it that way because it's nice to reflect on that. And compared to now, it's like a lot of biased opinions nowadays. So if you just talk about the past and have a good conversation and be like, wow, that's really nice to know, and you inform someone about it, then yeah. So in your student life, you should be setting your own expectations. Procrastination will suck you in, and it will leave you there struggling to submit any assignment. Sometimes it can be the day of, sometimes it can be within an hour, a couple hours, and that's honestly the worst situation to be in, because you're under an extreme amount of stress, and that wasn't forced upon you, but you forced it upon yourself. So maybe just practice by preparing an assignment first. So like writing in the date and the title of the assignment and then your name and then all that good stuff, and then leave it. And then maybe like the next day you'd be like, okay, I have this. Let's knock out the first section of the assignment. So like the first problem and the second problem, and then the stuff like that. And then not only just doing that one assignment for that day, so having your list of assignments that you need to get done before that deadline, and then you do a little by little on each one until you get to that deadline. And that's what I've been doing. I mean, I do little by little. So like for online classes, there's like quizzes formats, but they're not actually quizzes or assignments. So I just like start the quiz, and then I knock out like 2 or 3 questions, and I just head out, and then I go to another assignment. And then the next day I go right back to that, and I'm like, oh, I already have this much done. Okay, let's just keep going. I'm almost there. So work life, having a part-time job while going to school. I've had and have a part-time job while going to school, and I believe it benefits me. My grades are, they're okay, and then my income is okay as well. So of course, it's nice to have that, but in the beginning I did struggle a lot, because you gotta the beginning of something, you're gonna suck a lot at it until you start practicing. So in the beginning, I was struggling a lot with grades, and I was struggling with, like, trying to balance those two things. But after like a couple, actually I've been doing this for like 3 years now, 2 years now, and after all that time, I feel like I've been able to grasp that and control it to my advantage. So let's see. I want to give you a little bit of perspective on how I look at my days. So I look at them as either a green day or a red day. So like a green day is that I make money off of that day, and then a red day is that I spend more money than I make. So let's say I work like 5 hours for that day, and let's say at a wage of 13, and take off your taxes. So let's say I make 50 bucks, but then I go to the store and I spend like $70. That's a negative day because it's negative 20. So I try to, I guess you can say, be a hermit and not spend as much as other people do, and just continuously make money. So I want to give you a little bit of another insight on my life. So you don't always have to necessarily have a part-time job to make money. You can obviously start up a business like an LLC. It's a limited liability company, and with that, you're able to run your own business. And if you ever do get sued, they can sue your business and not you. And so I'm actually currently running JBL Auto Dynamics. It's my company, and it's in an area that I have a passion for, which is cars. And I've always loved cars since a young age. And now that I'm able to do something that I love within that area and profit off of it, is extremely nice, because I'm able to afford my personal car build, and I'm able to make other people's car builds better to their suiting, and I'm able to put a smile on their face. And it's nice to see that when they see the product I've provided for them, they're able to say, yeah, that looks nice on my car. I'm happy that that's there. So let's get into having finances settled for each bill you have. So I like to look at my finances basically every day, where I know where everything is at and where it needs to go. So if I was to give you my current financial situation, I want to start off with the basics. So having a checkings account. I have a checkings account under Wells Fargo, and that's where all my finances first arrive, like my direct deposits and all my other incomes. And then from there, I direct it towards other areas. So I'm currently in the stock market. I have 3 portfolios. I have 2 Roth IRAs. One's Fidelity Go, and then another one's Betterment. And then I have an actively trading profile that I personally work on. The other 2 are brokerage controlled. So this one is Robinhood, and that's where I'm able to do my personal own trades. And then I also have the savings account, because you obviously need a savings account. And I noticed that within the local banks, they have really low interest rates, where you're able to make money off of your money being in that bank account. So I looked online, and I was able to find Redneck Bank. Funny name. So they're actually initially offering 2.25%, but now it's down to 1.75. But that's still way better than a lot of the banks around here. So like Washington Federal, I don't want to call them out, but to be brutally honest, they're like 0.01% on interest rates. So I was like, that's pretty low, and I would like a little bit higher, just to get a couple cents here and there every month for me having that money in there. So I'm not only benefiting them by providing them with my money in their bank account, but they're providing me with a little bit of profit on my end. Oh, and yes, you can never forget about a credit card. If I was you, when you turn 18, get that credit card as soon as possible. Building credit as soon as possible will benefit you in the long run. Although in the business world, like, credit score doesn't really matter, but initially in the starting stages, it does. So like what I chose was Discover, because they had a lot of benefits in that credit card. So they had, let's see, I think it was for like a year and a half. They had 0% introductory APY, I think it is. So like they don't charge interest on any of my monthly balances. And then they had cash back, so I was able to get like 5% back on certain purchases, and then 1% back on all purchases. And I'm currently on track to make a considerable amount, because they match that everything that you spend, they cashback match at the end of the year. So it's really, really nice. So I'm not sure if they still offer that, but that's what I chose initially, and I've been with them for like a year now. So Oh, let's get into the bad debt. If you want to look at it that way. So my loans, I consider them bad debt because, you know, you have to pay them off, and interest is going to kick my butt if I don't pay them off as soon as possible. So I'm currently under Fed loan servicing, and although I am directing a portion of my paycheck every, you know, to the loans, it's still going to take a while. So let's say I make $100 on a paycheck. I direct like 25 towards investments, like Roth IRA, and then $25 towards my checkings, or my savings, and then I direct another $50 towards or $25 towards my loans, and another $25 towards paying off my credit card. Stuff like that. It's nice to have that that control in that area. But yeah, paying off loans as soon as possible is nice. So what to do during the summer? I'm almost positive every one of you will work during the summer to accumulate a savings account for college. But college has gotten to the point of being unaffordable for someone saving up during the summer, to be brutally honest. Working a full-time and a part-time job, it was ridiculous for me because I worked the whole summer and I still didn't have enough for college. I was like, this is insane. This is unfortunate. So that's when I picked up on the part-times. But you know, having other avenues of income and still coming up short is like, it's a slap to the face, you know, because you're investing so much time into education, not only in trying to be able to afford it, but like, you know, to maintain your I guess you can say your level in that college is tough. So I guess you could say it's just better to sometimes take up the loans and just finish off as soon as possible to get the high-paying job to pay off those loans and to not worry about it as much. But yeah, just gotta keep grinding and gotta keep going. So next is personal life. So on the basis of personal life, where do you live? Do you live in an expensive or in an expensive apartment or dorm? Do you really think you should be staying there? Honestly, in my opinion, I would choose inexpensive apartments every time. Because, I mean, you know, you're just gonna be there to eat and sleep. Like, I was never there. I was never at my place. I was always at the library. I was always on campus, you know, grinding it on, you know, trying to maintain that grade, trying to develop connections and, like, you know, get out there in the world. And a little bit of insight on my housing situation. I actually slept on the floor for the first 2 years of my college education. I was with someone and they were able to provide me with a place to stay. And although it was on the floor, I respected it a lot. I mean, it gave me a lot of how would you say, insight on sometimes the struggle can be real, and if you really want something, you're willing to go through a couple of misfortunes to get to the end goal. And I really like that I was able to go through that because it made me develop a lot of character and a lot of skills and a lot of not obedience, but like independence and like a way to control my life, I guess you can say. Okay, another question. What do you eat? Do you eat out often? Do you live on cup of noodles? Have you ever tried to find an in-between and like eat whole foods made at home? And you know, not necessarily desperately broke like noodles, eating noodles every day. Although it does come to that point at times. You know, finding a median and being so not being a person that eats out all the time is a nice thing to have, you know, because if you're eating out all the time, you're gonna spend a lot of money on that. And if you're eating a cup of noodles, then you're not really in a happy state. You're gonna be in a sad state, to be brutally honest. You're gonna be depressed because you're eating this all the time, or maybe you like that. You know, there's different mindsets out there, but I'm just assuming that you'd be mad or sad because you're in that. But you know, finding a happy medium, proper medium, and you know, eating whole foods. And not necessarily getting the branded stuff, but getting the knockoff stuff from, like, let's say from Grocery Outlet, because a lot of people say that it's knockoff, but it's still same great quality. And like getting the whole foods and making a nice meal, you know, like a nice salad or like a nice pasta or like, you know, a nice burger, stuff like that. So transportation. What do you use for transportation? Do you have a car? Do you walk? You know, do you ride a bike? Stuff like that. For a car, it's a major expense, but it's a major luxury. And for walking, it's a minor expense and a minor luxury as well. So maybe just finding in between and walking to certain classes instead of driving, just to save a little bit on gas would be nice. Because penny pinching at times will save your life in the future. So, not necessarily taking control of all of your luxuries, but maybe sacrificing a little and being like, I'm going to do this instead of that today because it'll save me in the long run. So, how do you enjoy your wants? Do you go out and do you go on a shopping spree? Or are you the simple kind of person and just go for a walk? So now we can compare both which is expensive and which is not. Like going on a shopping spree is expensive and going on a walk isn't expensive. And finding a medium between them would be nice. So let's say finding an activity that's in between. So like let's say expensive is 100 and inexpensive is 0. So finding something that costs $50 but still brings you happiness is something to look for. And it's nice to have something that doesn't hurt your wallet. Because to be really honest, money talks in this world. Money makes the world go around, and if you don't have any money, you won't be much. Well, in this world, I mean, I'm not saying that you have to make a bunch of money, but if you're there's classes of income, and the less money you have, the less you're gonna have. The more money you're gonna have, the more you're gonna have, and that's me being blunt. And if you don't have the money, you can't really talk, you can't really walk. So just take control of your finances and yeah, stuff like that. I'm sorry for my rant, but yeah, that's the video, and I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you gain a little bit of information on looking at your personal and your work and your student life, and see how all these points can be directed in your area of life. How you can further develop and how you can become a better person for the future. So yeah, that's that. I also want to say, for the students that are part of the Soar Europe program and that are incoming freshmen, please make sure to contact me and tell me that you watched the video so I can mark that as a point for the end of the year drawing, and then you can get a chance at winning a big ticket item. So yeah, that's that, and hope y'all have a good one, and thank you.